Hey everyone, Jacqueline here, and today I'm going to be starting a new tutorial series where we're going to make a asteroids game in Unity. Uh, we'll start a new project, so I'm going to click New. This project is going to be a 2D project, so you'll want to click 2D, and then I'm going to name this project Ultimate Asteroids Game. Okay, and then I'm going to choose a location to save this in. So I'll just create a new folder, Ultimate Asteroids Game. Okay, and then you can save it wherever you would like. I'm just going to save mine here. And then once you have the location that you want to save, we're just going to hit create. So make sure this is 2D, name it, and then pick where you want to save it. Once that's all done, you're just going to click this blue create button. Okay, and that's just going to take a second to like boot up the project and get everything open for you and created for you. In the meantime, we're going to go grab some art assets from Kenny. I'm not 100% sure how to use that, so I'm sorry if I got that super duper wrong. I think it's Kenny. And Kenny is amazing. They have so many free assets that they create for new developers just like you. And all of these are completely free to use. You don't have to attribute Kenny, although you definitely should. Um, and you can use them in personal or commercial projects. So if you decide to publish a game, you don't have to worry about paying for these. You're able to use them. So what we're going to do is we're going to search in here for the space shooter packs. So we're just going to use our the space shooter Rideau, or I think that's how you say it. This pack here. So this comes with a bunch of different ships. Uh, you'll see that, and then it comes with some like particle-y type effects. This is like adding damage to your ship, and they've got cool like all the ship pieces in case you want to do like a creator or something. It comes with asteroids. It comes with everything we need. We have shields and some bullets as well. So we're just gonna click download. This is going to pop up. It tells you what the license is here, so you're free to use this in any project, personal or commercial. You don't have to ask for permission, so you should definitely give attribution, but it's not required. All right, once that's downloaded, you'll just click it to open, and we're just going to extract these. Um, I'm going to extract them straight into my downloads. So you just open it, hit extract, and then extract it to wherever you want, and then hit extract. And then Unity is open now. This is all my thing is all jacked up. Here we go. So we're actually going to drag in all of the sprites that we downloaded. But first, before we do that, we're going to make a new folder in our project view. So create folder, and we're going to call this folder sprites. Oops, sprites. Can't type. Okay. So then once we have that, we're going to click into there, and then we're going to open up our folder, and we're going to drag the backgrounds, the bonus, and the PNG folders into here. We're actually not going to use the sprite or vector stuff, so you can just not include that. And then this is going to take a second to import everything. Don't worry if you can't like close this screen until this is done. It's kind of particular where it doesn't like let you do anything. If you click like onto Unity, it will. So once this is done, yeah, we see that we have these here. There we have our PNG, and this has all of the individual sprites that we need. We have the ships, we've got enemy ships, we've got asteroids, everything we ever need. Cool. So here in Unity, I'm just going to kind of walk you around for a few minutes. So this is our hierarchy. This is where the things that we add to our scene will go. So if we, click one of these and drag them in, you can see that our player is now in the scene. Oops. And then we have like this list of things in our scene over here. So I'm just delete that guy again. So this is where we're going to have like a list of everything in our scene. And then this middle one is our scene view. So this is where we're going to be moving things around and going through and positioning things. This is basically where our whole game is going to take place and where we can interact with what's going on in our level. The game tag here is what it looks like through the eyes of the camera. So this is what the player will see. So right now you see it's just a blue screen. The background to the camera is just blue. So that's just empty right now because we don't have anything into our scene. And then over here on the left we have our inspector, and this is where we're going to see properties and the components that are on each of our game objects in our scene. So by default, everything will have a transform. Everything will have that, so this is something that you'll see a lot. And then our camera has like a camera component on it, and then depending on what we have in our scene and what we need, they'll have different components. And we'll kind of figure that out as we go. Down here at the bottom of our screen is our project view. So this is where we can access all of our assets, our scenes, our sprites, music if we have it, all of that stuff. So and our scripts as well. So that will all be accessible through here. You can have this set up to be like a couple different layouts. So we have our list of things. So this is just all of the files that we have in our assets, just kind of like in a list view. And then to the right is all of the like thumbnail views. So you can kind of see like what each thing is and like what it looks like. Our next tab here is our console. So this is just where we're going to see if we have any errors or any warnings. It will come here if we decide to debug out in our script. So basically if we send out a message to try to see like what's going on, it will appear here as well. So that's pretty much Unity. We're just going to get the scene set up for getting started in our next video. So really quick, we're going to go to our, so from our assets folder, we're going to go to our sprites folder. So if you double click on sprites, and then we're going to go into the backgrounds, and we're going to choose one of these backgrounds to include. So I'm just going to use black. So you'll see that we have these, and we can just drag it out to fill the screen. So you'll have like this, you can kind of see like there's some stars like in the background, but nothing too bright to take away from anything. So that is setting up our background, and then we're also going to drag in our player. But before we do that, I just want to kind of go over like how I did this, and then how we can affect this in different ways. So once we drag in our background, mine has these like little blue dots. It allows you to adjust the size. So basically it's just going to be affecting the scale, like how big it is. Additionally, we also have, if you press W, we have these handles here that we can move things from left to right and up and down in our scene. So this is just how we're going to move things like up and down, around. If you press this like blue square and drag it, you can move it in any direction. But if you just drag the handle, you can only move it in the up and down or left to right. So you'll see this blue one allows us to place it anywhere we want. Also, if we press E, this is our rotate. So in 2D, we basically are only going to be rotating around our Z axis. So, I mean, if we rotate it like on the X here, you'll see that the whole thing just disappears and we can't even like see it anymore. So we don't want to do that. And then the Y is the same thing. It just kind of disappears into like a thin line. So basically when we're working, we're just going to be rotating things on the Z, because the Z is the axis that we're kind of looking down into the world on. So that's what we're going to be rotating. And then to rescale, we have R. You can press R. You'll get like these like squares with like lines on them. Pulling just one axis makes it go in that like bigger or smaller in that direction. So this is the Y, and then also you can do X. And then of course if you just grab from the middle, you can scale like proportionately in both directions. So that's how we're going to be moving things around in our scene. So if you want to just take a minute to like explore moving things around in here, you can do that. And then also if you press, you can press left click to select things just in your scene. And then if you hold down or scroll with your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. So the camera does scroll to where your mouse position is. So if your mouse position's over here and you scroll, it's going to go to look at where your mouse is. And then you can click in your scroll wheel to drag, or you can press right click and drag to move your camera around in the scene. So, okay, next we're going to drag our player in here. So we're going to go to our sprites folder, so assets, sprites, and then go back to PNG. And you can choose any of these ships to use as your player. I'm just going to go with this blue X wing kind of thing. That I just like that one. And then we're going to just rename that. So if you right click on it, rename to just regular player. Alright, so some of you probably have noticed that we've dragged this in, but it doesn't actually show up. Right now it's currently behind our background. So if you like pull it up, you can kind of see it. So yeah, so it's just behind our background. And this is just because our background is rendering over our player sprite. So we're actually going to fix that by using some sorting layers. So what we're going to do is go over to our inspector. You'll see that it says tag untagged, and then next to that is layer and default. So what we're interested here is the layer and default. We want to click on the word default and then go all the way down to add layer. Okay, and we don't actually care about these layers here that are open. So we're going to close that, and then we're going to go up one and click on the sorting layers. And that will open the drop down for you. And then we're going to add a couple of layers. So you press this plus sign and we will name our layer. So I'm going to name this background. So that's the background. And then I'm going to call this one characters. That one's going to be for a player and for any enemies and asteroids that we have. Okay, so then you can close that and then click on your player in your hierarchy. So just go all the way to the right, find your player and click on it. We're going to go into our inspector. From the layer, we're just going to go down until we see default again here. So, and then this is our default sorting layer. That's what it's set to, but we want to set our player to characters. And now if you drag it down, it'll go over your background. And then also we need to click on your background. Let's rename that to background. Okay, and then we are going to do the same thing. So just go down until you see default again and click that and click background. So now we have them on our sorting layer, so our player will appear above the background. All right, so you can just reset the transform. So with your player selected, just make sure everything's at X0, Y0, and Z0. And then everything on your rotation should be at 0 as well. If that's all set up, then you are good to go. So thank you so much for joining me for setting up our Unity project to get ready for adding some functionality. Next time we're going to work on a player controller to get our player moving around in our scene. So if you liked what you saw or heard here today, please click like and subscribe below, and I will see you next time.